Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Let me just check for the 10-second delay. See my own stream starting. Here it comes. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Jimmy and Lou's Cheapass live stream. I've got my mic hooked up today, so hopefully you won't hear it rubbing on my clothes. You know, I'm not a professional whatsoever when it comes to doing this stuff. So hi, Monkey Face. Hi, Chris Naz. Hi, Jingles. Toxic BTC Troll Jingles. Hi, Ant-Man. Hi, Stein. Hi. I think that's everybody. Ant-Man, Chris Naz, Stein. Yep, quite a bit of chat happening there. Okay, sorry for the delay. Now, I could lie and tell you that I was received a phone call from Ryan X Charles or something, but the honest truth is I went for a dump because I realized that I don't want this live stream to be limited by maybe I didn't really need to go, but in half an hour maybe I'll have the need to go, and I didn't want to interrupt the live stream to go for a dump, so I thought I'd try and get that all out beforehand. So no, I actually went for a dump. I dumped. Didn't dump any BSV or BTC or Bcash. So yeah, here I am. Okay, so what is the agenda? Notice I use the word agenda because Blockstream, they send me quite a hell of a lot of stuff. I've got quite a few hats and stuff, but I'm not supposed to wear them on air. They don't actually send me a plan as such, which is why my shows are crappy and unplanned. What they generally tell me to do is make sure that I do attack BTC and Bcash, so it doesn't look like I'm financed by them. So and of course I'm telling you, might be thinking, why am I telling you this? Well, I'm trying to tell you this because it's kind of like if one day someone finds out, I can just say like, well, yeah, it was an act. It was me pretending that Blockstream paid me. So you never quite know. So always look at people's proof of work and look at what people are doing and what people are saying. So today, where should we start? Okay, let's start with Sean Satoshi, because today he did a live stream, and I thought, hey, it's great because he started talking about me. As long as doesn't matter what they say about you, as long as they're speaking about you. So that was quite nice. A few days ago now, maybe it's like just over a week ago, I went on his show. Those smart enough to see would realize I basically forced myself onto his show by like shaming him on Twitter, saying, yeah, Satoshi, I'm ready to talk to you, and sending a private message to him when he was looking at his private messages on the show, because he screen shares and everything. I basically forced myself onto the show. Started off weird with like a discussion that he was managing, all to do with the economics of Bitcoin, which I didn't really want to talk about. But eventually we got round to MetaNet Gate and all that stuff, which I wanted to talk about, which I wanted to get the message out there, just in case there's one user whose data was leaked by Joe, who wasn't aware. Maybe they would have been watching Satoshi's show, because I think he's got 1,000 subscribers now. So well done, Sean. And maybe just to spread the message out there that something was wrong and something was stinky, if we like, within the BSV system, the ecosystem. So yeah, that's quite a good show, and I think I'm going to paste a segment of it because I'm sure he's going to delete it, or he's going to delete me or whatever. But he's blocked me now on Twitter. But I'm going to paste a segment of it, a 10-minute segment, where basically it was like I was hosting the show and he was the guest for that moment. But it was certainly interesting. But I was certainly using him just to go on his show. I wasn't. But at that stage, I was already like knowing quite a bit about the guy and how he works, and just you don't want to fall out of everybody from the media, do you? Because you've got to use the media sometimes to get messages out. So yeah, very naughty of me, I suppose. Anyway, today I was listening to his show, and his first topic of conversation was MetaNet Gate, and he started talking about me, and he said Jimmy and Luz is negative I'm a negative person. Okay, Satoshi, so I'm a negative person. By that, he means that all I do is attack, I'm guessing. He must have forgotten that he was the first ever show that I appeared on where I spoke for like 3 hours and 20 minutes. Everyone in the comments was saying, hey, get this Jimmy guy on again, or get this James guy on again. Because it's like an interesting talk, I guess, for a lot of people about, you know, how long I've been in Bitcoin and what I'm doing and the history of Bcash and BTC and all this stuff. And he probably forgot the, I don't know, the 100 or so times I must have been on channel BSV, totally like a volunteer, just being there to translate new tech stuff into trying to translate it into stuff that people could understand. So, you know, I've done quite a lot of work. I'm a programmer, but I don't really program that much with Bitcoin. Why? Because there isn't that much money in there, to be honest, right now. And if I had a fantastic idea, for sure I'd do it, but I haven't got any fantastic ideas. I get a lot of people reaching out to me saying, hey, Jimmy, can you help me do this? No, I mean, I'm doing all this. I haven't got time to code for other people unless you pay me. But mostly I do stuff like working with the traditional stock market, shall we say. I do stuff like 3D modeling, coding. I'm freelance. I do quite a lot. I do pretty much a lot of things. I work mostly in Python. I do some C. I don't really like C++. I can do PHP and all that stuff, but I don't like them. I don't like them whatsoever. But I take jobs that I like. You know, I think it's more interesting to do a job that you like than just to be there like a slave doing what people try and get you to do. So yeah, you know, this is like a fun hobby for me, if you like, speaking on a webcam or going on a live stream. So anyway, Satoshi today said I'm negative for the space, probably because of the stuff to do with MetaNet, probably to do with the fact that I got censored on Twitch and I shouted about it. Probably to do with the fact, what was the other thing? That I was asking questions about Craig, asking about his gun and his gun license and stuff like this. But let's have a look who really is negative for the space. Satoshi is a leech. Why? Well, there's a big thing that I found out yesterday. I didn't know. I was naive. I'm guessing that a lot of people didn't know this. When he starts his show, he tells everybody to go and visit bsvgalaxy.com. Now, I naively assumed that he was sponsored by Bitstocks, who, of course, have their Galaxy product. And Bitstocks actually replied to a tweet of mine saying, like, you know, in some words that they weren't. There was nothing to do with bsvgalaxy.com. So I went and looked at it. And basically, what it is it's a URL that redirects to the real Bitstocks website using Satoshi's referral code. Now, there's a big problem there. Now, some people might think, well, if they didn't buy the domain name, it's Satoshi's fault. It's their fault. It's Michael Hudson's fault. It's Bitstock's fault. True. I mean, Satoshi could have bought the domain, and then he could have sent a message to Michael saying, if you want the domain, it's $1 billion, you know, or maybe $1,000, or maybe $10,000, or whatever. True. But what Satoshi's actually done is he's done something really stupid, because he's actually breaking the ICANN rules. ICANN are the people who manage the .com domains. The problem is Satoshi is kind of like, he fooled me. I thought that he had official sponsorship from Bitstocks, and I did a poll, and I know Twitter polls don't really mean much, but quite a few other people did as well. So that is actually trying to associate your hijacked or your squatted domain name with a real product and a real company, and you're actually associating yourself with that. You're actually causing customer confusion. Now it's not a legal offense. Maybe it could be, I don't know, maybe there could be a civil thing there, but certainly with the ICANN, if you look at their rules and regulations, you can't do that with a .com domain. You cannot, you know, you can set up a domain and use it for something else, or have it as an empty page. But you cannot do that with a domain, pretending, especially advertising it on your show, pretending that you have something to do with Bitstocks. So Bitstocks, Satoshi said on his show today that he's got a meeting with them tomorrow. Now I'm guessing it's a meeting where he thinks he's going to go there and they're going to give him an offer he can't refuse for the domain. You know, who knows how much money? But they shouldn't do that. They should offer him absolutely nothing, because what they should do, they should go to the ICANN, and they should file a report. They should show them his YouTube videos where he starts his show doing that, because I think that is very negative. Yeah, a positive thing to do would be to say, hey, Michael, look, I've got this domain name. I took it before anybody else did. I'll give you it for $1,000. Fair enough. Otherwise, I'll sit on it. Fair enough. But it's negative what he's doing, associating his show with Bitstocks, because it's not fair on Bitstocks, and it's not fair on his viewers who, you know, it's just not fair. It's just not right the way I see it. How he's done it, name squatting that domain, redirecting his traffic to his referral code. That ain't transparent, honest actions. So who's the negative guy in the space, Satoshi? And also your show, man. Today you had what's his name on, which is more interesting than most shows, but most of the time, TJ Coleman, is it? I don't know, one of the 4B cashers who kind of like didn't do jack shit when there was fork time, and probably they supported the censorship of all us when we were B cashers being kicked out of B cash because we were supporting the SV fork. But you know, fair enough, they all came over in the end. But you know what's you know, Satoshi's show generally is the same show every time. It's you know, and he's this pseudo like an economic expert. I don't think, you know, I think he knows the words, but I don't really think he knows what he's talking about. And he posts stuff on Twitter like graphs saying, you know, anybody who understands this knows what's coming next. You know, it's just like pump and dump stuff. I think Satoshi, as soon as BSV gets to a certain price, he's going to disappear. He ain't going to be around anymore. Yeah, because all he's interested in is pumping that price, which for some of you that might be good, but you've got to look how he is pumping the price. I mean, starting his show pretending he's affiliated with Bitstocks. I just think that's negative. That's negative stuff. And also, I'll tweet it out right now. Let's do an exclusive on air. Watch my Twitter timeline, folks. I did a message the other day. I posted a PM with somebody, and I actually hid who they were. I didn't show who they were. I masked it out. But let's go and see this PM again, and let's see who it is. Let's see this. You can see with your own eyes what I'm talking about. Because he called me a name as well today. I can't remember what name he called me. I get called so many names I forget. But I thought, you know, fuck it. This is for you, Satoshi. So watch my Twitter feed. That's twitter.com Jimmy and Luz. And I'm gonna hit I'm gonna hit tweet. Boom. There. Just an example. That's a PM I had with Satoshi. He pasted my tweet in the PM, and he put 3 smiley laughing faces next to it, and I said, hey, you're supposed to like it publicly. That's how it works. And then he says, I'm staying out of it. You know, the guy obviously thinks that what I'm doing is right, but he hasn't got the balls to be on his to say on his channel, you know, you know, he says I'm negative, and he keeps insisting that what Joel did was a mistake, and a few other people like Ruth Eastman, it's a mistake. No, let's try and do a simple analogy. This is a mistake. I wake up in the morning really tired. I put on my shoes, I put on my underpants, I put on my shirt and everything, and I go outside and start walking down the street. Then I realize, oh damn, I've forgotten to put my underpants on. Not my underpants, my pants, my trousers. I forgot to put my trousers on. That's a mistake. Thankfully, I've never made such a mistake in my life. But you could say that is a mistake. Your head was a bit fucked. Maybe you had too much to drink the night before. you're too tired, you made a mistake. But if you went out of the house totally naked walking down the street, you couldn't say that was a mistake, could you? So this is basically what's happened. Let's just repeat the basic facts. I don't want to go over this MetaNetGate thing. I've got loads of videos. You can go and look at my video list. But the basic facts. One, it was a USA server, shared server, cheap host. That's actually the name of the hosting company, cheap hosts, like a $5 a month server, shared server. Shared servers are bad. Why? Because they run virtual machines inside a physical server, and sometimes there's exploits with these virtual machines. So a hacker or an attacker who happens to have or happens to get into a virtual machine on the same physical machine as yours, sometimes they can cross the barrier and get data or get access to the memory or whatever of the other machine. Happens rarely, but there has been lots of flaws out there. You know, just wait for the next one. There will be one, that's guaranteed. So that's why you shouldn't have a host on such confidential data as passports, IDs, driving licenses on a shared server. It should be on a dedicated server. Number two, it was in the USA. A mistake? No, because this is a European company, a UK limited company. They shouldn't have they need a license to export their data to the USA. So it was in the USA, the data. Number three, okay, this is the one, it was in a public folder, publicly accessible, public directory traversable folder. So that's a big mistake. That's the kind of like one that people understand is the mistake. And they think, well, if he'd have just done a chmod command, it would have fixed it or fixed this configuration. But that's just a part of the whole thing. Because he would have done that, but he would have still been doing all these other things, and he wouldn't have been able to tell because nobody would have known that the documents were on there, you see. That's why I did a public full disclosure, because I realized that he would do that sort of thing and lie about it, because I know the kind of guy he is. What else have we got? We've got quite a few other things. Documents, they weren't encrypted. They should have been encrypted, even if they were in a private folder, because what's to stop somebody who works in the server company or the hosting company from accessing those files? Nothing. A rogue employee or somebody, nothing. They should have been encrypted. You can argue they shouldn't have even been on the server. Most companies delete such stuff once they've been received. And there is another one. Let me just try and think what it is. Yeah, it should have been offline. If he had to keep the documents. Oh no, there's another one as well. If he had to keep the documents, it should have been offline. There's no reason to keep it. And lastly, but this is the most important one, I think, there's no valid legal reason to collect those documents. To collect people's passports, you need a valid legal reason. Yeah. Saying I'm doing it to ensure that you're not Greg Maxwell is not a valid legal reason. So this is some fucking mistake. You know, I mean, this guy's a criminologist. How the hell can that be a mistake? Yeah, he got caught out. He didn't do his homework. Yeah, that ain't a mistake. That's incompetence. That's not being professional. And apparently I'm the unprofessional one, but you know, we'll see. So yeah, back to Sean if you want. I'm seeing people are speaking in the troll box about Toshi and Shem, because of course they used to do the show together, and with Tramp as well. I used to be fair with Shem, I used to, a few months ago, I used to criticize him, but I used to do it in public on the Bitcoin SV channels, and one time we got in a massive argument on the channel with me, Shem, and a guy called C, saying that he appeared to be like a snake oil salesman, and I think he did take some of it on board, and he did change a little bit, but at least he was there. He wasn't like, he didn't, at that time anyway, he didn't block me from everywhere. He didn't try and make the thing about me attacking him rather than what I was saying, which was I was doing it because I wanted to improve the system. I wanted to improve our media output, because that's why I originally came on his show, because I realized that they needed somebody to help them with the tech, because, you know, I saw them get owned by Andreas, what's his name? The guy from that, the Bcash guy, Andreas Brecken. He totally owned them. They didn't understand what he was talking about. They didn't understand the concepts. So that's what I did. That's why I came out, because I'm not a media guy. I'm not you know, I'm just a nerd, a coder. I shouldn't be doing live streams, but here I am. So yeah, Satoshi, the same show. Yeah, it's fun to dump on Bcash and BTC, but every single show saying, you know, just wait, just wait, just wait. I don't know. To me, it's kind of boring. But you know, at least he kind of had me on, even though probably he was forced to. But he had me on. He didn't cut me off. He let me have my say. So got to give some credit where credit's due. But I think this whole I'm negative for the space when he's doing this thing with screwing over bit stocks in a way, and fooling his listeners. I don't think that's very positive. It looks a bit scammy to me. So there we go. Okay, now breaking news. Another new thing. I'm now I've got a troll toll now by Ellen Moist, the frog from Twitch, the PR guy. He's put a $21.80 troll toll. So is another guy. Why have they done this? Basically, this goes back to the whole fear thing. People are scared of speaking out. I've had people like I've had sometimes like people writing to me saying, you know, Jimmy, this was, you know, yeah, this is good. I agree. I've seen like people, you know, but then I see people scared to like stuff on Twitter or on Twitch or whatever because they don't want to be publicly seen to be liking stuff. Now, obviously, likes and stuff are not that important, but if I was sending out messages and nobody was liking them, I probably wouldn't have the heart to do it. Thinking, well, you know, is anybody reading this stuff? But then when I look at like the count for the videos, the video about Joel, for instance, is almost like, I think it must be now, it must be over 2,000 viewers, and you get like 2 likes. Come on. Yeah, a lot of people just don't want to get involved, but I understand that. I understand there's a fear element. So people must be scared of Joel, must be scared of, if they are MetaNet members, having problems with their membership, especially if you paid for it, they can ban you at any time. Or maybe they just think, well, maybe I want to be a MetaNet member in the future, or maybe I want to keep my options open. I don't want to make enemies in the space. Fair enough. People do what they want to do. I don't want to make enemies in the space, but I want truth in the space. And if I have to choose between one of the two, I'll go for the truth option. You know, now I guess I've made an enemy with Satoshi. He's blocked me. I think I'm not very good with Shem either. That's to do with another thing. And he's obviously he's a good friend of Joel as well. So I'm definitely not a friend of Joel Delays. Craig Wright. To be honest, I've got no idea. Part of me would like to think that Craig respects the fact that I'm asking questions, but another part of me thinks like, you know, Craig must just think I'm a troll, you know, and he hates trolls, so Jimmy's a troll and that's it, you know. But to be honest, I don't care that much what Craig thinks. It doesn't matter. One thing I've learned, and one thing I think you learn as you get older, is you stop caring what people think. Long as it only matters what you think. So yeah, let's get back to this Twitch. So somebody, because I don't know, they were scared to, or maybe I inspired them, or I don't know, whatever, but they've been having this problem for a month where they made a Twitch like a month ago. Let's go the exact details for you. They made a Twitch. They must have made it on the 28th of February. But if you actually look at, it's in the blockchain, you can look at the transaction and you can see the Twitch in the blockchain on the 28th of February. But you go to their user page on Twitch and the date next to it is the 28th of March. Now people might be thinking, oh, it's just a month. Well, what's the problem? Well, the problem is this is showing some sort of bug in Twitch. And it's not only that. Again, we go back to the Joel thing, the way Joel Delay responded when I said, you know, there's a big problem here. These are documents are on a live server. Joel started calling me a heroin addict, started saying he knew where I live, and started like threatening me. From Twitch, we get a similar reaction to this user where, I mean, I've not seen all the communications, but the user told me, I've got no reason not to believe them, that they've been given the runaround for a month. They were told, like, you know, it was their fault, their problem or whatever. Nobody took them seriously. But the problem is you're paying for that Twitch. And the user apparently, obviously I've got no way of checking this now. All I can see is what's on the blockchain and what's on the Twitch website now, which is a discrepancy of 1 month. And I'll get to why that's important in a little while. But apparently they did the Twitch and they couldn't see it until 1 month. So they did it like on the 28th of February, and they couldn't see it until the 28th of March. Now, if you think about that for a second, Twitch, the whole marketing of Twitch is that you write something witty or something funny or something that people enjoy and you earn money. But what happens if you write, I don't think this is censorship. I think it's a bug. It's clear it's a bug. If you write something and it doesn't appear on their platform, you've paid for a promise of earning money, and how the hell can that money be earned if it's not shown on their platform? If people can't see it because of a bug, you know? So you're thinking, yeah, it's only sense, Jimmy, but it's the principle. And worse than that is Twitch's reaction. I mean, the user had to come to me and get me to publish it. I asked their permission, obviously, to publish their messages with me, to highlight it, because he saw that I was doing, you know, I call it BSV Cleanup 2020. Let's just expose everything bad going on in the space, expose the bad characters in the space. And people think that maybe I'm working for Blockstream. You think what you want to think, but I think I'm working for Bitcoin, because clearly we're not, there is a lot of problems. Yeah, here we go. So I obviously released this out. I'm not scared of causing a scene, if you like, especially when it's valid, especially when you can look in the blockchain and see it. And what happens? The guy, Ellen Moist, Coin Yeezy, quite a funny poem, I guess, says that Twitch doesn't have bugs, it only has features. And then now Randy did similar stuff. So they've definitely got the message. They definitely know about this bug or this feature, if they want to call it that. But now they're troll trolling me and everything, so I'm not going to have to speak to them ever again, which is probably a good thing. But they're like in a defensive mode, attacking me in a way, if you like. But what they've got to remember is this isn't the same as them going against BTC people on Twitter. This is going against their customers. This is going against people who pay to Twitch. Yeah, it's funny if somebody makes a Twitch with some sort of exploit that fucks up the entire Twitch site and nobody can load any Twitches. That's funny. I get that. I get that it'd be funny if you opened up Twitch and it just crashed because somebody had done some Twitch that made everything crash. That's a funny bug. But when you start fucking around with your basic business principles, I mean, the basic idea is it's immutable. We've already discovered that it's not uncensorable, but fair enough. But the whole idea that, you know, you can make a post and it doesn't appear, and we look at this post now and the month is 1 month out, it's 1 month wrong. It leads me to believe, well, this is a database error, either caused by bad coding. Well, maybe the coding's been fixed now, but the database is there now with that data in it. So what do? Do they reload it all from the blockchain? Because obviously the blockchain is the truth here. Or it's caused by data corruption, which could be a corrupt disk or whatever. But clearly that it says to me that this is like, you know, the chances that this one user has had this problem and he's got in touch with me. I think there could be loads of users with the same problem who don't even realize they've got this problem. Yeah, maybe it's not even just the date. Maybe there's other things as well. Maybe there's Twitches that people pay for that are never displayed to anybody. Who knows what the hell's going on inside that platform? And you've got to remember that people are paying for it. It's not Twitter. It's not free. People are paying to make their tweets. If I make a Twitch site, I'm doing it maybe because there is the opportunity that, you know, I can get 10 cents for it, mate. You know, if 2 people like it or whatever. You're denying me that opportunity. So now you're starting to fuck around with, you know, why should I bother paying for Twitch? You know, why don't I just stay on Twitter? Yeah. Now there's a famous case in the UK. I think it was in the 80s and early 90s, late 80s. There was a chain of jewelry stores, like in every town, called Ratner's, which kind of like was low market jewelry, where, you know, most people went to buy wedding rings and stuff. But one day, I think the guy was on the guy, I think it's Gerald or Gerard or something, Ratner, the CEO, the guy who started the company, who owned the company, was on some breakfast TV show or something. And I'm not sure the conversation, but basically he said that, yeah, most of the stuff that we sell is crap, is cheap crap. Now, the next day, that was in the headlines of all the newspapers and all the tabloids saying, you know, head of this company says they sell cheap crap. Within weeks, the company went bankrupt. the company totally went bankrupt. Because what you don't do, I get all this toxic trolling, I get all this toxic marketing, I get all this, you know, Twitch doesn't have bugs, it has features and all this stuff. I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it, because they are pretty smart, their marketing. But what you don't do is fuck with your customers. So when a customer says to you, hey, look, why isn't my Twitch appearing? You can make a joke about it, but you should go and look into it. You don't leave the customer for a month, so then they have to get in touch with me to see if I can find out what's going on. Yeah. You don't treat your customers like that, because they're the ones who pay you. They're the ones who, well, nobody's really paying them now because they must be losing money. But certainly we're paying for our Twitches and stuff to be out there. So the whole mantra, to get back to the show title, just build. No, just build, but build it fucking responsibly. Build it correctly. I understand, I get it, I work in software. I get that you have alphas and betas, but, and you know, until you get a good release. But you know, back to the Joel case, there's no way that he should have launched anything, even an alpha version, the way he did, using WordPress and a public upload folder, because that just doesn't happen. This is people's documents. Yeah, this is people's super private information. Yeah, you do the job properly or you don't do it. Yeah. And it's the same with Twitch. Yeah, Twitch, you've been going for quite a while now. You're not really in alpha stage anymore. And also, we're not talking about something weird, some weird bug where, I don't know, somebody types a specific Unicode character or something in the post and it does something weird. We're talking about the fucking date, which is a basic element of any post, is the date. I don't understand, unless it's disk corruption, how the fuck the date can be different to what's in the blockchain. I don't understand the coding error or whatever that happened there to do that. Yeah, so it leads me to believe, you know, is the whole platform suspect? Is there, you know, is there errors in other places? So it really makes me think now, is there any value to me using Twitch? Because how do I know that what I'm twitching is being seen by everybody? You know, my potential audience, my potential customers, shall we say, who will click on my thing, who will click on my Twitch and like it or branch it. You know, so you don't fuck with your customers. That's business rule number one. Yeah, you can have a little laugh and stuff like you guys do, but you really are fucking with your customers when they've paid for something and they've got a real issue, which is a real issue. So that's my little rant on Twitch, which was unexpected until today, really, until I was past that info. Craig Wright, I'm going to do a video about Craig Wright and his gun, because I've got some questions there. Basically, my questions are, does he have a license to have that gun? Is it a real gun or a replica gun? If it's a replica, he doesn't have a license. He doesn't need a license in the UK, but that means he's been lying to us about it, because he certainly presented it as a real gun. Now, if he hasn't got a license, isn't Mr. Legal breaking the law? And if he has got a license, how the hell did he get a license? Because in the UK, it's some of the strictest gun laws in the world. Basically, there was a big massacre called the Hungerford Massacre in the late 80s, where some guy killed his mother and like went dressed as Rambo, went all around his small little town in Hungerford. Go and have a look on the internet. And he killed, like, I don't know, 15 people or something, random people in his town. And then, of course, I think in the 90s and maybe mid-90s, late 90s, there was the Dunblane Massacre, which was a terrible thing in Scotland, where some guy, a scoutmaster, he went into a primary school and he shot, I don't know, like a dozen and a half primary school kids. So he shot like 5-year-old kids. You know, it's kind of like Columbine, but Columbine was teenagers. I guess this was like 5-year-old kids. Terrible. And I think a few teachers as well. So after that, really and there's a whole conspiracy there as well. You want to look into it. Gordon Brown, connections with the Masons and all this stuff. But basically, you know, UK gun laws, after that, they kind of like said, you know, nobody can have a gun apart from a farmer who's allowed to have a shotgun. And, you know, the police in England don't even have guns normally. You know, there's special armed response units with guns. Most policemen in England have a taser, have a mace maybe, and have a baton. You know, they don't have guns. So how a guy can have a handgun like that, I did have the mark of it, the name, what was it, a P60, P45, P55, let me just look a second. Looking at my browser history, P3, no, P4, 5, P6. Ruger P85. Ruger P85. It's a gun that was made in the it was made in designed in 85, and I think it was released in 1987. I don't know that much about guns, but I'm trying to learn a little bit before I do this show. But that's the gun that he had. So I want to know that, because the only reason I can think he has a license for it, if it's a legally owned gun, is if he is some secret agent, if he is some spy with all these connections to the intelligence. And that, to me, if he did have a license, I mean, if Craig wants to post his gun license and do a proof of license, to me, that would be a very bullish signal for those who are looking into the fact, is he Satoshi Nakamoto? Because as I said, a year ago today, I was probably 99% sure that he was. But because of all this crap happening in court, because he's had his ass handed to him on a plate so many times over the last few months, because so many of the things that he said were going to happen haven't happened, I'm kind of like 50-50, And of course, we got all this, which I posted about. It's still on if you look on my page, my Twitter feed, it's the pinned post about Gareth Williams, the spy, body in the bag spy, the Clintons, Putin, and all this stuff. I mean, it certainly is very dark. It's a very dark history here. So if he is involved with this and he has got his gun license and he can legally own that gun, then it certainly is very interesting, and it certainly explains a lot why he's had his ass handed to him so much in court, because he hasn't been able to speak about a lot of things. Yeah. But there is always a possibility that he's got this gun without a legal license, and he's just Asperger this all, and it has nothing to do with this Gareth Williamson. Who knows? This is the thing. This is what's interesting. Most BTCers, Bcashers, they think he's talking shit. To be honest, I don't know. That's why I think it's really interesting, this gun angle, and why I should have a look at it and see what people think about it. Because we shouldn't be scared to touch anything. Probably dealing with the dark arts and the intelligence services, but YOLO. They want to come after me. They know where I am anyway. So the NSA know all. Okay, so let's go through some of the comments and see. I did see earlier I had some questions. I'll get back to them, but I'll see any comments from people. Okay, so we were speaking about the benefits of. I was trying to explain the benefits of raw liver and stuff like that. There's some good questions from Stein, which I'll get to in a minute. This is the problem. I should have maybe been going through the questions while I was speaking. Is Blockstream paying Tone Vase? To be honest, I don't think so, because I don't think they're getting their money's worth. And you could pay for a circus clown who'd probably do a better job at representing BTC. I think Tone Vase is kind of like Satoshi. He's like the BTC version of Satoshi. He's just interested in pumping his bags, I think. Somebody who doesn't understand the tech at all, really. He's just like I think he's an ex-Wall Street trader, isn't he? Apparently, that's his story. So yeah, if I had to compare someone in BSV with Tone Vase, it'd probably be Satoshi. Who am I? Who's the BTC version of me? To be honest, I don't know, because I don't really watch any BTC shows. But the shows that I have seen, I've never really seen anybody speaking bad stuff about BTC, highlighting negative things, if you like, highlighting problems and stuff. It always seems to be circle jerking, like any show in any crypto, always circle jerking around their coin, which I think is a mistake, because people see that, there's certain things that you don't touch, there's certain subjects you don't cover. If something bad happens, you don't speak about it. And I think it's important. So maybe people do see I'm negative. I get that people see that I'm negative, but I'm only the reaction to the lack of action. Yeah. If there'd been more balanced media, if there'd been more balanced things, if we hadn't seen like BSV, it looked like it was sold by snake oil salesmen or pumpers or TA analysts and all that stuff. If you actually had people trying to do a balanced show, balanced stuff, then I probably wouldn't need to be here doing this, So I'm only doing this, if you want to see it as negative, I'm only doing this stuff because nobody else is, because I think it's important. I think it's important because we've got the best tech for sure, but there is a lot of other things apart from the tech, which get the users, which get people involved, which gets people interested. And this whole culture of fear of speaking out, it's terrible. It's terrible for the space. People, I think, are starting to get it. People are starting to see reactions and stuff of Metanet and Joel Delays and all this stuff, and realizing that, you know, some people are standing up, fair play to them. Some people are seeing, like Daniel and Rainer and some other people on Twitter who nobody really has heard of, but they're standing up and calling things out. I think, it's like anything. One person does something and other people feel inspired. So if I can inspire people to speak out, not only on BSV, if I can inspire Jingles here to speak out about things that he sees bad on BTC, which he'll say that there isn't, because he'll say BTC is perfect, but, or a Bcasher maybe. I think Bcash is probably the healthiest system in terms of people speaking out, because if you look, we had like they had the whole tax issue, didn't they? And there was a big social war about it. There was a big people on one side and people on the other side. But, we all laughed at them and we saw it as a fight. But it was kind of healthy that there was that thing there. It was kind of healthy that everyone wasn't just looking to one guy to see what direction to go, because that generally on BSV is what happens. People go wherever Craig says to go, which right now, most of the time what he says I believe in is right. But some of the stuff like him saying the other day that those posts saying that Craig's fake Toshi or whatever from the addresses that were in the documents that Craig said he owned, Craig was saying that wasn't signed. Now he must be playing word games. Yeah, it wasn't legally signed. Define legally signed. That's fine. You can define legally signed. It's signed with a real identity, but they were cryptographically signed. Because if they weren't cryptographically signed by an anonymous identity, which is not legally signed, I get that. But if they weren't cryptographically signed, then that means crypto is broken. And I don't believe that crypto is broken. Well, certainly not on a technology level. So Craig's using these words and stuff, and I don't think it's doing any good at all, because it's like he's making us all look stupid. He's making himself look stupid. But people are defending him, saying, yeah, he's right. Craig's right. They weren't signed. They were fucking signed. Just because Craig says it doesn't mean it's true. Craig should have said they weren't legally signed. That's fair enough. But it kind of changed into they weren't signed. They weren't signed. They were fucking signed. If they weren't signed, everybody should dump all of their crypto right now, all across the board, because crypto's broken. The basic algorithms within crypto are broken if those messages were not signed. They were signed. Legally, no. Signed by a cat, maybe. Who knows who signed them, but they weren't. They were signed cryptographically. On a technological level, the output, from that input, you got the corresponding output, knowing if you knew the private key to do it, and we can check that, we can validate it. Yeah, that was signed by that public key, because we don't know the private key. Sorry, that was signed. I don't want to confuse everyone like Roy Murphy signing with public keys. You don't sign with public keys. That was signed by the private key, which we don't know, which corresponds to the public key that we do know. That's basically it. Anybody can verify that. Let's carry on through the comments and see if I can get some more inspiration to say some things that are going to get me in trouble. I tweeted, why do BSV projects go on Satoshi show? He is so unprofessional. Where else are they going to go? Go on my shitty show? Well, I don't even have it set up for live chats and stuff. I mean, if somebody, like I did with Daniel, like I did with Rainer, if someone from any product, I mean, I'd love to have Michael Hudson on, because not for BitStocks really, but even though I think BitStocks is a great product, I like BitStocks. I like what they're doing. I love their podcasts. I'd like him on just to ask him about some theories and conspiracy theories and stuff, really, because I've been down there, and he seems a smart guy in that aspect. And like I said, I've always found it interesting and brave of him as a CEO of a financial company to be speaking about how finance really works, and the people who are behind the curtain, shall we say. He's not really afraid to use terms that other CEOs wouldn't use. But yeah, I guess they go on Satoshi show because where else would you go? What other shows are there now in BSV? I mean, there is BSV Train, but it seems like there's hardly ever a show. Connor made a show the other day for the first time in ages with Daniel. speaking about Boost POW. I'm sure I could get Daniel on to speak about Boost POW. If anybody wanted to see that show, I'm sure Daniel would be happy because we seem to have a good rapport with each other. But yeah, you know, what's going on? Why are there no shows? I don't know. I guess it's because Channel BSV was the big show, wasn't it? But that just all got deleted. That's the worst thing. It got deleted. It's not like the show just stopped. The show got deleted. So all of that content, I'm not saying it was all good, but what there was there that was good, it's all lost now. You know, on a personal level, I feel a bit pissed off that all those times I was tired and I just sat there on the show, and some shows were crazy long, like 4 hours long and stuff. And of course, I was up for 14 hours. I was there 14 hours when we did the data blast. I was there the whole show, 14 hours. But you know, it's not there on video anymore. But I don't regret it. It's so people would have learned in the moment. But you know, any noobs probably think, who's this Jimmy and Lewis guy? Who the hell is he? The guy who's made what 6, 7 shows. Who's he? I'm listening. I want to go and watch Satoshi because he's got all these shows. He's got more subscribers than Jimmy and Lewis. Have you had a look at my YouTube profile page? Isn't it the most ugliest, crappiest YouTube profile page ever? I just can't be bothered to invest in it. You know, I can't be bothered to. People say, Jimmy, you get a microphone, get a webcam. I can't be bothered. Yeah. I'm only here. I'm filling a gap, folks. I'm filling a gap until we get a proper media personality who knows how to speak properly, who can pronounce their ass properly, who doesn't sit and smoke cigarettes on camera. Yeah, I'm waiting for that sort of person to come along and speak the good things about BSV and speak the bad things, and not be afraid to have controversial guests on, and not be afraid to ask their guests difficult questions. I'm just a stopgap. I'm just a filler. I want to get back to coding because I make a hell of a, well, I don't really make any money in the live stream. This is personal time, if you like, hobby time. I could use this time doing something else, exercising or working and earning, you know. So I'm just a stopgap. But I think right now I'm probably doing a good, I don't want to big myself up, but I think I probably am doing a good, important role, because I'm showing people that there are problems and we should speak out, and there should be shows speaking truth and stuff, as well as all the hype, as well as all the circle jerking, which I understand it. Maybe my show does have negative vibes, but you know, really I've just been seeing so many positive things, and if you like, so much circle jerking that I think this is the response to it, you know. Monkey face. Okay, let's carry on down. Shem reminds me of David from the British Office. Oh, it's been so long since I watched the British Office. I don't remember who David is. Oh, David, yeah, he's the boss, the guy who does the old dance. Yeah, Ricky Gervais, yeah. Satoshi just simply has serious issues. Okay. Captain is good communicator and with guests and stuff. Satoshi is good with economics and fundamentals. I think he sells it like he's good at that stuff. I like fundamentals about what? The tech fundamentals. No, there's no tech there. And you either need a few characters on a show. So if you're not good at tech, have a tech guy on your show. If you're just good at tech, I mean, my show fails because I'm only really good at tech. I can't really sit there and talk about economics that much. And now people are thinking, well, when are you talking about tech? That's the thing. My show, I'm not even talking about tech anymore. All I'm doing is, seems like I'm a drama queen moaning and fucking bitch moaning about some things I see wrong in BSV. This is where we've come, you know. I'd rather get back to doing tech stuff. Hang on, I've just lost it there. Shit, I've lost it. Where am I? Trying to find the. Okay, so yeah, I missed that. A few things. People are talking about Brave browser. Here we go. Jingles. Brave browser is copping flack for doing the scammy shit Satoshi's pulling. And he says, Satoshi Shem, nothing tech, nothing critical, just snake oil salesman bullshit. Okay. I would pay to see Jimmy and lose against Jimmy Song. Satoshi got owned by Roger. In the box, Twitchcast is good as they are creative. Hi, Teddy. Teddy says, ha ha. Teddy's an interesting character. Yeah, the Mr. Movie guy. Teddy has been a great supporter of mine. I think Yeah, that's all I'm going to say, because people respect people's privacy and what people want to reveal. But Teddy's been a great supporter of mine, is all I'll say. Not sure if he is now, but in the past he has been anyway, certainly. Monkey Face, I think Craig would respect you, to be honest. Somebody else earlier said, oh no, there it is. I doubt CSW gives a shit. I once spoke with CSW on the channel BSV. I asked him a few questions. So he probably doesn't know who I am, but I did speak to him once at least. So, you know, I've spoken to him. Now, if you think someone asshole, he's never going to speak to me again. I did speak to him. If you want to make this about hero worshipping and stuff. I'm not making profit on Twitch. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure how, when it says your earnings, I mean, I noticed my earnings changed. I'm guessing if you're not making profit, that's zero, right? Or does it count your earnings without deducting your costs? I don't know. I'm not really paid attention to it, but I think I've made money, because I think I've made money on Twitch, because I did have a few Twitches, especially earlier on, that got quite a lot of likes and stuff. And actually, I spent a bit as well on the troll toll that Connor set up. I spent $10 just to send a message to Connor. Okay. Press like people be cool. Yeah, I'm not a press like person. I'm a nerd person. I'm a geezer, I guess you might say, in the UK. Peer game is basically a scam. I don't think peer game's a scam. If you look at peer game, you can see how it works. You can see. I did find that amusing. Satoshi trying to suggest that there was a pattern in peer game. He did do a few shows where he was playing peer game all the time, saying, "Look, this is look, it's red, red, white, white, or whatever. It's going to be red, red, white. Oh, it's going to be red, red again, or whatever it was. I don't remember exactly. But if you look at peer game, if you look how it works and you understand the tech, you can see that it is fair. It's provably fair. You can go and look at the how they generate the. It's all about random numbers, basically. Any computer game or prize, imagine flipping a coin. It's all about random numbers. The computer's making a decision based on a complex mathematical algorithm that normally, this is how it normally works, based on a complex mathematical algorithm that, yeah, is repeatable. I mean, you can always seed the random generator of the same number, but it's designed to be unpredictable. So that in a perfect scenario, if you did a random coin toss 1,000 times, you'd have 500 heads and 500 tails. Of course, in real life, you know, if you did 1,000 coin tosses with a real coin, you wouldn't get 500. Well, you could do, but it'd be very unlikely. It would probably be skewed in a certain way. That's just how random works. And it could be skewed on the side of heads the first 1,000, but then the second 1,000, you think, okay, the heads must be lighter or heavy or whatever. But then the second 1,000, it could be skewed on the side of tails. That's just random. And of course, you could do 1,000 tosses and it could be 1,000 heads in sequence. You know, sounds, whoa, what the fuck? But it could happen. So peer game is provably fair. You're able to look at your results and then able to look at how it chose that result. So I don't think it's a scam. You want to go down the debate, is gambling a scam? The house always wins. Yeah, obviously peer game is designed that there is a little, that they are the house. They always win a little bit, but not a scam like a lot of scams are. Peer game is not a scam. I disagree with that. But Ant-Man saying, I've tested peer game, it's a scam. I don't know. I'd be interested in why don't you make a Medium blog or something and write a report, write a report on your findings, because I don't see how it can be a scam when it's provably fair and you can see the algorithm and how it works. So I haven't looked at it. I'm not an expert, but I looked at it. I looked at it a while ago, unless I've changed things. Chris Nash says, why is peer game a scam? It's awesome. Yeah, I'd agree with him. For people who like gambling, it's awesome. I like gambling so much that I don't gamble, if you know what I mean? Because if I started gambling, I'd end up getting wrecked. So things that you enjoy too much, it's best to, if they have negative consequences, it's best to avoid them, I find. So you're saying they know how to make you lose. They don't. It's provably fair. You can go and see it. So I'm going to ignore this discussion about peer game. Your coding skills compared to Ivan on Tech and Jimmy Song. To be honest, no idea. I know that Jimmy Song, I thought Jimmy Song for a long time, I thought he was just an idiot with a fucking hat. But then I realized that he was a code and he did do some stuff. To be honest, I had no idea. And also trying to compare coders is hard as well. The different disciples, different languages, and what makes a good coder? Somebody who does something quick or somebody who does a good job. I mean, you could argue that MetaNet was done very quickly, the MetaNet ICU, but very shitty job. You could argue the Twitch, it's got bugs like date bugs. Yeah, maybe it was rolled out quick, but is that good coding? I don't know. There's obviously a bug. Then people say that there's no program that's perfect. Every program has bugs, but then you go and look at the stuff written in ways like the lunar stuff and the space rockets and stuff, where you've got to be a pretty good coder to work on a space rocket. It's very expensive if you've got a bug there. But they've happened before. Who's to say they won't happen again? But generally they do smart stuff. Like they have, if they have like redundancy, and they probably have two systems written in two different languages by two different teams of programmers, just so that there's no, if one had a problem in it, it'd be very unlikely that the other would have the same problem because it's in a totally different language, totally different team. So it's hard to compare programmers. Also, how do you compare them? Open source stuff they've released. What happens if you've got a really good programmer who doesn't do open source? Who knows? So I don't know. I know I'm better than I used to be, which is the most important. If you keep progressing, if you're learning to code anybody, and as long as you're better than you were, then keep going. So if you keep making the same mistakes, like anything, I guess, in life, if you keep making the same mistakes, then you probably want to stop and question if you're doing the right thing. More talk on peer game. Okay, this is interesting. I'm 100% BSV, but I believe peer game is a scam as I tested it. You don't have to justify yourself as being 100% BSV to say that you think peer game's a scam. If you want to say peer game's a scam, say peer game's a scam. It doesn't make you any less of a BSV. And this BSV, you're a Bitcoiner. And I think being able to call something out, you might be, I think you're totally wrong, but being able to call something out, I think that's very Bitcoin. Especially when we talk about being open and transparent and stuff. I think it's very Bitcoin. Maybe the people who don't call stuff out. Maybe the people who are scared to click like on a tweet that they agree with. Maybe the people who are scared to ask Joe what's going on. They're probably not 100% Bitcoiners. Yeah. So you don't need to justify your support. If people want to think that I work for Blockstream, then fuck them. Fuck you. Yeah. Whatever. Doesn't work. Doesn't work that you must be Greg Maxwell, or you're a shill. You pretended to be BSV. You got into our community. You appeared on Captain Bitcoin Show 100 times or whatever, just pretending that you was a BSV supporter. So one day you could turn around and do this. Whatever. Yeah. I'll be honest, if I was in your position, I'd think the same as well, because it's always interesting following conspiracy ideas and stuff. And if you want to go with that, I'm happy to go with that. It makes more of a drama. And Chris Naz, he's just said what I said. It's not about being BSV or not. It just isn't a scam. They calculate everything on the TXID, which gets timestamped. Yeah, there's also like a history of hashes and stuff. You can see it. Go and look. If you don't understand it, how it works, then go and ask somebody. But it's there. Jingles BI call out anything that's fucked. I'm not going to answer. I don't know. He does seem to have support for a lot of things. Truth. Yeah, truth. Well, there probably is. There must be a coin called Truth Coin out there, but truth. That's crypto is all about mathematics, which is all about truth. It's all about the same input resulting in the same output. I mean, truth, man. That's what we need. More truth, less lies, more transparency. First, if they want to know how much you have on your money button, they have to have an inside informer, which is giving them your every address balances. Yeah, it's probably quite hard to track. You would need. It's hard to track what somebody has in their money button, just by knowing their money button. And yeah, you could send them the way you would generally do it. And I've seen it happen sometimes where people send me like one Satoshi to my money button. And I think, well, the only reason they must be doing that is so that one day when I decide to move my money button, decide to move on one money or a lot of it or some of it somewhere else, say an exchange or maybe to another wallet or wherever, if it picks up that Satoshi, that dust, as part of my other transactions, then they can see them all moving somewhere else. So it's hard, but people can kind of like track it. Don't think that your money button's anonymous. And obviously, yeah, if you're Ryan X Charles or the guys who work with him and you've got access to their databases and stuff, you can see everybody's address and stuff. You can see where everything's going. Well, as far as where it's going to an address. If you're the FBI and you could do all these things, but even so, an exchange, you wouldn't know if an address is an exchange or not. Unless it's a totally legal 100% exchange, which would notify the authorities of all the addresses they made and stuff and who owned them. It's quite a hard job to do. It's not as easy as it's made out to be. Jingles, listening to Craig trying to weasel this. I'm guessing he's bringing up what I said earlier about the signing and stuff. Then all the roofs out there going, see, he's right, is astounding. Okay. Jingles, don't call us beavers, man. Jingles is calling us beavers. I wouldn't say the beaver, insist it was me. I don't generally care about spelling, but that one does my head in. Where am I? I want to get back to live. And then I've got to go back to Stein's questions. Need a show with all the guys a few times a week. Do it. Who are all the guys? Who are all the guys? Wouldn't that just be a circle jerk if there's a team of everybody on doing one show? I mean, can you imagine a super show? Me, Satoshi, Shem, Tramp, Rainer, Daniel, those four guys who came from Bcash, TJ and the other ones. John, imagine everybody together on a show. River. I think it'd be a question of too many cooks spoiling the broth. And I think, it's good to have multiple shows. I'd rather see 4 or 5 shitty little shows like mine than a big show trying to gain the entire market, trying to be the official, because you can't have official, can you, on a decentralized blockchain, but trying to be the official channel or whatever, because, we're seeing it. Channel BSV was trying to be the official channel. It certainly was the most popular channel, but then it got shut down because of whatever, and all that content was lost. Now, if that had been, imagine that if I'd never appeared on that channel, I'd done my own stuff, like now, I wouldn't have lost my content, or if I'd have been taken down, Shem's stuff would have stayed there. If Shem would have been taken down, my stuff would have stayed there. So I think it's good to have multiple channels. I think it's good to have, obviously it's better to have channels friendly with other channels, but if you're going to call a channel out with valid reasons, then fuck it. And yeah, I get it. People say to me, Jimmy, people either love you or people are scared of you, Jimmy. People are scared of you, Jimmy, because they think you're like a madman. They think you're like you could snap at anybody. People don't want to work with you. People don't want to, you wouldn't be able to get anybody on your show. Not that I'm interested in having people on my show, because I'm not that good a listener. I interrupt people a lot, I guess. Maybe it's my autism, but I'd like to try it, to be honest. I would like to try it once just to see. I kind of like had Daniel on and Rainer on, but it was kind of like my show speaking about my thing, because we were speaking about the MetaNet gate thing, which was something that I'd uncovered, if you like. I don't know. Could I have somebody with a new product on? Would I ask them the right questions? How much work would it be to investigate what they're doing beforehand? Because I guess I'd have to do that, because otherwise, how are you going to ask them the right questions? I don't know. Maybe it's something I'd like to try. I'm game for trying anything once. Yeah, I need to set myself up to be live, because I don't like making pre-recorded shows. Why? Basically, time. It's a lot quicker just to press record and rant, and then it is to try and record something, and then you start thinking, well, I said that wrong. Shall I cut that part? Shall I do this? Shall I change that? And you just spend so much time. Okay, we're kind of like catching up live with the trial box now. You, Daniel, the girl from the last time, I guess it means Raina, Connor, and whoever else. Well, depending on your use, the more you use money burn account, the more split up does your balance get. True. Without an insider, it's impossible to know. Peer game does not make enough money to pay mega events for such a contract. Peer game has found a way, whether it's a flaw with money button or not. Who is behind BSV Boom? Jim, do you know? BSV Boom. I have seen that they've been tweeting quite a lot. They've been retweeting a lot of my stuff. No, I've got no idea who they are. Fair play to them. Actually, I did fall out. It's weird how things work, because they were kind of like one of the early people who started tweeting me out a lot. I'm not sure, I guess they just kind of like looking for truth as well. But I actually had a fight with them, BSV Boom, probably about 6 months ago, because there was some charity thing to do with planting trees, like pay dollars and you get, and they're associated with Bitcoin SV when there was no association whatsoever. And I was like, hang about, this has got fuck all to do with Bitcoin SV. They don't even accept Bitcoin SV. Why are you sticking a Bitcoin SV sticker on this charity thing? And because it's not doing the charity any good, it's not doing Bitcoin SV any good. We did a bit of a back and forth, and I think John from the SV train was involved because he tweeted it out. Then he decided to delete his tweet because he decided, yeah, this has got nothing to do with Bitcoin SV. Because it's like I said, we'd all love to associate our favorite charities with Bitcoin SV, but if everybody did that, the whole space would be a mess. And this BSV Boom guy or girl, whoever they are, they got me in the end. And they said, yeah, I was right. And they deleted it. I think they deleted their tweets. But yeah, now, I find them, they seem to be quite a supporter of mine. So, it's good. Don't know who they are, though. Okay, some stuff about, I don't think there's any flaw in money, but no, I think peer game is fair, so I'm going to skip this conversation. If anyone wants to read the trial box later, read it, make your own minds up about it. Craig is God and God knows all. LOL, that's monkey face. Yeah, I don't really want to go into current affairs and stuff, but this whole kneeling thing, people kneeling down and stuff, I'm not really that religious, but I understand people who say, you should only ever really kneel to your God. And I don't think Craig is a God. He might be a crypto God, but he's not God. So I don't think he knows all. I don't think you should kneel to him. He's not perfect. If there's anything bad that he's doing, you should call it out, just the same as anybody else. Where are we? So now I don't know. People keep carrying on about this peer game. Debate BSV versus BTC with him. You and Craig versus Tone and Jimmy Song. I don't think Craig's got time for these people anymore. If you wanted to debate, I don't think, well, he wouldn't be sitting there in the ICU. He'd be there in public more. Also, I think that show the other day, he kind of like hung up, didn't he? He said, I've got to go, bye. It looked like a total cuck, I guess. Didn't want to discuss things throughout the idea that a lot of people ran with, saying that they weren't signed, which was just a massive Asperger, I guess, straight from the ass, big burger. And we're the ones left picking up the pieces and looking stupid when people are saying, what the hell's this guy doing? Who knows if it's his Asperger's or not? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know how the guy works, but I've always thought there should be a middleman between him and the public at large, some sort of filter. But then that's the reason why I liked the guy in the first place, because he was unfiltered. I mean, when the guy stood up there in Arnhem, which is when I first ever really paid attention to him, just the fact that someone was there swearing with such fucking bollocks and all this stuff got my attention. I mean, even if it had been a boring talk, just hearing those words would have like got my attention, that someone was saying those words. But it was a very interesting talk, and it was a very motivating talk, because you've got to remember at the time, it was the whole big blocker thing, and you know, people wanted to really see big blocks, so it's very motivating. Whether he's Satoshi or not, for a big blocker like myself, which is, you know, I'm a big blocker. I just happen to be a BSVer, I guess, a Bitcoiner, because Bcash 32 megabyte blocks are not big enough for me. That's a good comment from Michael. It's not about being nice. It is about the truth. Yeah, spot on. But some people think it's like a dick rubbing show where you're not doing anything constructive unless you're rubbing somebody else's dick. Unless you're sitting there saying how great BSV is, how great every app is, how great all these things are, how much the price is going to pump or whatever. If you're not doing those things, you must be negative. You must be bad. You must be nasty, evil like Jimmy. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Many hands make light work. Yep. Daniel Rayner, Connor, Ryan X, and have debates against BTC groups will be amazing. I think rather than looking at other groups, this is again what Satoshi does, attacking Bcash and BTC all the time. Rather than looking at other groups, there's a saying, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. We ought to look at ourselves first, yeah? We ought to look at ourselves, because if we can't talk about ourselves, if we're scared to talk about certain people, if we're scared to say, hey, what Craig said is wrong, or I don't agree with what Craig said, yeah? If we're scared to do that, then how the hell can we be talking about other groups? You understand? We really need to get our own house in order first. Yeah, I get it. It's the tech that matters. I get it. We've got the best tech. But if you want to get people, Craig's even said it, you know, things need to really happen quickly, because every single 4 years is a halving. Yeah, it's all time lost. We've already lost like 10 years. Yeah, so there is a time limit. The game's going to be over after a certain number of halvings if people aren't using Bitcoin. He said like there's a 5% chance that we'll succeed. So obviously time is of the essence. It's not just about the tech. It's about getting people on board. Yeah. And to do that, you need to have the best shows on YouTube, where people who don't know probably don't even know what cryptocurrency is, let alone what Bitcoin is, go on a show and they find a really good show. Now, that ain't my show, because my show ain't going to bring anybody new on board. But my show might help to clean up some of this mess, and to give others who have the time, the energy, the resources, who want to go and spend money on blue screens and smart professional cameras and decent microphones, to think about their content, to think about, let's not go and repeat what's already happened. Let's not go and make a show that looks like it's selling snake oil. Let's not go and make a show if we don't really know the tech. Yeah, go and make a good show if you know what you're doing. If or there's a pair of you, power in numbers. If you can live stream, if you've got all the screen sharing set up, if you've got all these things set up and you've got nice logos and graphics, great. Yeah. Where am I? Yeah, you need. I'm just trying to get things changed. We've got a time limit, folks. We need to get people on board. We need to build. But if we make apps with problems, and people are scared of pointing out these problems, people are scared of mentioning things, or when you point out a problem, you're treated like shit, or it's treated like a joke, then, you know, our whole ecosystem just looks like a joke. We've got to smarten up. We've got to professionalize in that aspect. Better reactions, better relations with whether it's a security researcher, whether it's a customer or whatever. Because what are people building? If you're building an app, if the app's open source, then yeah, you're building an app. But if you're building an app like Twitch or whatever, then you're building a company. Yeah, you're building something that represents BSV. You're building something that might be somebody's first ever use of BSV. Now, if that person has a problem, and the first thing you start doing is trolling them and blocking them or insulting them, then you've probably lost a BSV customer, yeah, for life. So think about that. I get it, it's fun to troll. I get it that Twitch marketing's a bit left field, shall we say. But really think about the difference between trolling some random idiot on the internet or trolling your customer who's got a real problem that you're not helping them with. That's what I'm trying to say. When you call yourself Satoshi and Captain Bitcoin and you're not, it ain't going to work. Reminds me of a funny comment that Joe was pretty stupid to go against me, because why the hell would you go against somebody called Jimmy Never Lose, you know? The guy never loses, apparently. But yeah, who knows? I don't want to ruin my superhero person. And to give credit to Captain Bitcoin, he did give me the idea of you've got to invent a superhero name. So, you know, I kind of like thought, you know, Jimmy Win. I can't call myself Jimmy Win, can I? Because there is a Jimmy Win. I'm going to confuse things. What's another way of saying Jimmy Win? I could be Jimmy Lose, kind of like one. But then I thought, well, no, it's better Jimmy Never Lose. So that's me, folks. Jimmy Never Lose. Crypto God Craig, Richard Hart. Richard Hart is funny. He's a massive debater. Respect Jimmy. BSV is kind of like an IQ test. They don't hide the tech, and it's clearly light years ahead of BTC. Let's build. I agree, Jimmy. I'm happy to go with this. This BSV is kind of like an IQ test. I wouldn't agree with you that the smartest people are in BSV. A lot of smart people are in BSV, but there's a lot of followers and sheep in BSV as well. Go and look at Roy Murphy's stuff. The amount of people who like what he does. I don't know if they like it because they just like it as it's entertaining and they want some more. I don't know if they like it because they think that what he says is the truth. Like when he talks about signing messages with public keys, the amount of retweets and likes he had was like saying to me, whoa, this is worrying that these people in BSV, guessing that they all are in BSV, retweeting this guy, like, you know, spreading this misinformation and total bullshit. It's not everybody in BSV is smart. A lot of people probably came into it because it was a cheap Bitcoin, maybe a way of getting in at $60 and hoping, you know, because it was too late to get on the $10,000 coin. Who knows? But I get it. There are a lot of smart people in Bitcoin, as in BSV. We are people who are generally more open-minded, generally more, you know, we don't believe in this hodl gold crap. But there are a lot of dumb people in BSV as well who just follow people who are sheep. And these are the people that I try and communicate with, but maybe I rub a lot of them up the wrong way because it ain't my job. I'm not a media guy. I'm a nerd. Kraber says, let's build. I agree, Jimmy. Kraber, I think, I remember his avatar more than anything. He's the guy who had an interesting video thing with chat, paid for chat once. I think that's the guy. Benjamin Fulford. Yeah, I know Benjamin Fulford. I was speaking to him. It must be, what year we're in now? 2020. It must be like 13, 14 years ago. I was speaking to Ben Fulford. With another pseudonym, of course. Yeah. I don't know. He's one of those guys. It seems like a lot of these conspiracy guys, you know, like David Icke, a lot of what they say is true, but then they have all this fucking crazy stuff as well, which makes you think, well, what's going on? Someone accused me of that today as well, that I was like Alex Jones infiltrating BSV and then going crazy or whatever, saying this stuff to give BSV a bad image. I don't think it's. I think if I went started investigating some crypto, and I mean, go and look at BTC. Go and have a look, man. Go and search BTC. How many people within the, you know, big names, shall we say? Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a big name, not anywhere. I'm probably a medium-sized fish in a very small pond. I mean, Satoshi for sure. Right now, he's a bigger fish than I am, but he's still in a small, tiny pond. If you go and look at these other guys, Peter McCormack and Tone Vays and all these others in a bigger pond, the BTC pond, I've lost track of where I was going with this. I wish there was a replay option to see what I was speaking about. But shit, where the hell was I? You see, this is what happens with live. This is another reason why maybe I should do a recorded show. No, I've lost this. It's probably some crap anyway, so let's just ignore that. We'll do a cut later. I won't cut. I never censor my stuff. I never cut my stuff. The most vocal in BTC are the most misguided. I don't know really, because there must be a hell of a lot of people in BSV who are just hodling their hollow world, and they're very misguided, and we don't even know who they are or whatever. They're probably the ones, the vocal ones are certainly generating a hell of a lot of people who are misguided, you know, bringing people in thinking it's hollow gold and they're going to be rich. No, I didn't say Satoshi's in a bigger pond. I said Satoshi's a bigger fish. I'm probably a medium-sized fish. Satoshi's a big fish in the BSV pond, which is the smallest pond, if you like. I don't know, actually, because certainly BTC is a much bigger pond than BSV, but Bcash, I'm not sure, to be honest, because Bcash, if you look at the statistics, they got more mining, but their transactions have totally dropped off the radar. I think Bcash has been heavily inflated by Roger Ver sending himself transactions, and he's kind of like stopped doing it now because Roger seems to be interested in his exchange now. I think they've even stopped making the Bitcoin store has stopped. It's closing down, isn't it? They're more interested in the exchange, and of course the business model of an exchange is to have as many coins as possible, because the more coins you've got, the more trades you're going to have in theory, which means the more profit you're going to get. That is the job of an exchange. That's why people say that a lot of exchanges are anti-BSV, because they worry that you know, if everyone got on board with BSV, there would only be one-way onboarding from fiat currencies to BSV, and that would be it. Let's try and find Stein's questions from way back, and then I'll get back chatting live. That's what I'm answering. I'm trying to fulfill promises. I said, give me some tech questions and I'll answer them. Okay, here's the first one. Do you think it will be free to download data from the blockchain in the future? No, I don't think it will be, because I don't see a business model there. There's a very good article from Rothbard's Disciple, which goes over this. What incentive is there to give it to you for free? Unless it's some sort of advertisement or something. What incentive is there to give you that data for free? It's already been paid for when it was stored, and maybe then it was pruned. You know, what incentive is there? Right now, the incentive is to show people how cool BSV is, that we can store stuff on the blockchain. You know, but if the whole internet, let's say for instance Bico Media, say for instance, I don't know, Kim Kardashian got caught out in a sex tape. Well, I made a sex tape with Kim Kardashian and I uploaded it to the blockchain, Bico.media. You know, we'd probably have millions of people all over the world trying to download it, and Bico Media would basically, the server would get overloaded and would go down. How would they prevent that? They would have to spend quite a lot of money on multiple mirrors and multiple instances of their servers, and hell of a lot on bandwidth. And where would that money come from? Unless there was a benefactor who paid it, then that money wouldn't be there, unless they had advertisements or something alongside the stuff, or you know, something like that. That where is the revenue? So define data though, because you could argue that a byte is data. Maybe really small things, yeah. Maybe, you know, small things will be free, but certainly I don't think it's going to be free to download big files and stuff. No, it's basic economics. I mean, someone has to pay for it. Maybe it'd be free, as in if they force you to watch an advert beforehand. Like a lot of the internet is now. you know, or you have to go and fill out a questionnaire, and then you can go and download it. They unblock your IP or whatever, you know. Certainly, it gets interesting thinking, well, okay, that's using what I'd call a blockchain proxy service, which is a proxy, like Bytecode.media is a proxy between you and the blockchain, because the only real way of downloading from the blockchain is to go and use the P2P protocol and connect to the other nodes. What would be interesting is, would the nodes start blocking people from just downloading directly? How would they know what's a node and what isn't a node? Is this quite scary? Could this lead to centralization? I don't know. If a node is never making blocks, so it's not a mining node, but it's just downloading from others, is that a valuable node on the system? Craig says it's not, in a way, because only miners count. But if this node happens to be Bytecode.media, well, that's a pretty important part of the system, isn't it? Because how are people supposed to watch stuff uploaded on the blockchain if that node is stopped from connecting to the mining nodes, because the mining nodes realize that that IP address never makes a block for them? Sorry, not IP address, because it's hard to tell because the blocks propagate. Say, for instance, there's miner ID or something, you know, they can associate, they could demand the proof that you're a miner, you know, from the IP address. Who knows? There's certainly, it's a kind of worms, and there's certainly there is a business model for charging people for data, but also, I don't. Again, Craig says he imagines the future with everything on the blockchain. I mean, like, your cat goes for a crap in the litter tray, and a video of that gets sent on the blockchain, so you know to change the litter. I don't see that in the future, and I think that right now, the costs involved, like someone said, you know, you could do a live stream, a show on the blockchain. I think the technology, I think somebody could write it. I think it could be done, but the incentives to do it are not there, because how much is it going to cost to live stream a show for an hour? I mean, this show right now, I've got what? I was up to 20. I've got 18 viewers now. Say if it cost me £100, $100 for this show, which I think it would cost a lot more than that. But just imagine it was $100. I'd need to have $5 from every single one of you just for this one show. You'd need to send it to me now, otherwise I'd stop. If you want to send it, jimmyandlose@moneybutton.com, but otherwise I'd stop, because why should I be paying? I'm giving enough of my time. I'm not asking for money, but if you want to donate, but I'm not paid to do this. So, you know, why would I pay to put my own show on the blockchain? Maybe a one-off, yeah, you know, look at me, hey, I'm on the blockchain, but doing it every week, you'd get wrecked. I'd go bankrupt. Let's carry on. See, there's another one from Stein. Here we go. What do you think Merkel proofs will be used for, and how? Okay, what's a Merkel proof? Merkel proof is an amalgamation of a tree of hashes, if you like, and it can be describing a certain point in that tree. So the classic example of a Merkel root is what you get in the block header, which is basically the hash of the tree, the Merkel tree of all the transactions in that particular block. So it's a way of verifying that the block hasn't been tampered with in transit or whatever, and that the ASIC miner that does the hash on the block header, it's hashing against those transactions as they were in that moment. The Merkel proof, what would I think they'll be used for? I think if I had a really smart idea what they'd be used for, then I'll probably not be doing this live streaming. I'll be coding it, trying to launch my app and get rich from my app, or certainly get famous as the guy who made some cool app. Merkel proofs certainly going to be used for SPV wallets. Yeah. Any more updates on Hillary? Like I said, that's coming. The whole gun thing is coming. I think it's interesting, the spy thing, because Craig really has put himself in a corner, if you like. I know there is a few BTC people watching. They all think that Craig's a liar. I think if it came out that well, of course, there's always a conspiracy angle, isn't there? This can go on, folks. I mean, if let's just imagine that MI5, MI6, the CIA, the FBI, GCHQ, NSA all came out of a joint statement saying Craig Wright has never worked with them. All the stuff he's ever written about being involved with intelligence work is total bullshit. I'm sure that a hell of a lot of people would say, well, that's a big conspiracy. They're lying about Craig. These intelligence agencies are trying to lie about Craig, trying to confuse us. That's how it goes, folks. So he is in a way, he's in a corner with this gun thing, which I think why it's important to address this gun issue. Because I'm certainly pissed off if he's not a secret spy or something. How can an Australian citizen who wasn't born in the UK, who hasn't been living in the UK that long, maybe he has paid a lot of taxes, maybe he hasn't. I don't know how he does there, but he certainly hasn't been paying taxes for a long time. How can he have a gun legally and I can't? Yeah. Or how does he get a gun, but some woman who lives by herself, probably got an abusive ex-husband or something, threatening her, why isn't she allowed to have a gun? So he must have a license to have this gun. And how the hell did he get a license to have a handgun? Okay, let's just carry on. With a straight face, BTC promoters will tell you that it's better with less transactions. That's it, BTC promoters. I'm not a BSV promoter. I guess I'm a truth and transparency promoter in the realm of cryptocurrency. Now, I know Craig said it's not cryptocurrency, but let's just use the term cryptocurrency. So my values happen to coincide, and more important than truth and transparency, I'm a big blocker. If there is a big blocker lie coin, I'd probably be on that coin, because it's, to me, it's all about the whole idea of the future and the business model. How is this coin successful with a load of users? Miners actually being incentivized to mine on it. Even let's say things would be interesting. For instance, say if Bcash tomorrow came out with a special upgrade, and they said we have right now 1 terabyte blocks working, and that would really stop me, and I'd be really thinking, shit, do I go back to Bcash? What happens now? Yeah. So don't get me wrong, that because there probably are coins that are more truth. Well, there's well, in a way, unless you're an elitist, if you're just a normal, as Joe likes to say, layperson like myself, bank account money. I don't mean cash. I mean the money in the bank account when you do transfers and stuff. That's pretty transparent to the banks, isn't it? That's pretty truthful and honest. If you're the bank looking at it, yeah, you can't really scam there unless you're an elitist with loads of money. Then of course you can sell cocaine and put all your profits in the bank, and it's totally fine. But if you're somebody who puts a little money from a sale of a car in your bank, you might have the tax man saying, hey, what's this deposit of £10,000 in your account? Different rules for us, different rules for them. But yeah, I'm mainly here because of the truth and transparency, and also because I don't like hypocrisy. And we're all here speaking about truth and transparency. Craig's speaking about truth and transparency. So let's be truthful and transparent. Let's be professional. These guys speak about being professional. Well, what the hell are you doing, Craig? Saying about being professional and stuff. You with Joel. I mean, I haven't seen anybody professional than him in the entire space, to be honest. Not just on a technical level, but also how he responded, calling me all these names and stuff. That ain't professional at all. The Bitcoin Association, that's his job. It'd be quite strange if he was there speaking bad stuff about Bitcoin, but everybody else should be I don't know, BSV fans, I guess, BSV analysts, I don't know, BSV truth seekers, or whatever you want to call us. not afraid to call things out. I've had so many channels and chats for channels and media people privately telling me, no, I'm not touching this, Jimmy. I'm watching what you're doing, Jimmy, but I'm not going to touch this. I'm not getting involved. You know, come on, you're supposed to be a fucking journalist, yeah? Stop being a cuck. Get involved, because people will remember you for what you did. People will remember for what you didn't do. Raw data on blockchain is not the intended use of MetaNet. I'm so glad that nobody asked me what is MetaNet, because to be honest, I don't think anybody really knows what MetaNet is totally. Until I'm the kind of person who likes to see it until I believe it. I get it. I get a lot of it. Now certainly, this is Jimmy. I'm too negative, guys, but certainly with the promises of MetaNet, we can't even fulfill them without MetaNet. I mean, the idea that when I'm saying MetaNet, we're all speaking about the MetaNet protocol here, folks. Don't confuse it with MetaNet ICU and that shit show. But let's just go back to that a second, because you know we're promised the idea of MetaNet is the fundamental of MetaNet is not the technology. The fundamental thing is good content. Only good content will be on MetaNet, because people will have to pay for it, and if you pay for it, you're only going to pay for good content. You're only going to be incentivized to upload good content to the MetaNet, because it will cost you. You're only going to be incentivized to do it if you know that it's going to be seen as good content and people are going to buy it because it's good content. And you're going to not have any trolls, because people are not going to be trolling because it costs them money to do it, or you can block them or whatever. So you guarantee good content. Fair enough, I get all that. But why on MetaNet ICU, which again has nothing to do with the protocol, but you could see apply some of the same rationale, that it's promised as a safe space, as a troll-free space, as a space where the smartest people in BSV are, as a space where you're not going to be trolled because you're paying for it. But then Craig, head guy, Satoshi Nakamoto, is there with his Asperger predictions. You know, 1,200 end of year, Segwit fatal flaw. People paid for this information in 2019, and a lot of people believed in it, and it didn't come true. So, you know, what's going on there? If that is the promise of MetaNet, then it means fucking nothing. What's the point of MetaNet if it's not going to change anything? Especially if our so-called leaders don't set by example. Why would raw data not be a valid use case? Raw data. Define raw data. Raw data is just bytes. It depends what those bytes are and who values them. Again, if somebody can afford it, they can do it now, really, basically, up to a certain limit. If someone can afford it and they want to put data on the chain and they think it's valuable, they can do it. Right now, if somebody wants to download it, it's pretty simple to download it. Even if Bico Media doesn't have it, you can go and set up your own node and download those blocks. How long that will be sustainable, open and free for all, if we start getting massive blocks and massive use, is debatable. Because as I said, there is no real minor incentive to just offer you free cat videos from 10 years ago. There needs to be an incentive there to do that, and you pay once for storage. So whether it's viewed one time or 1,000 times, right now how it is, nobody gets any money for the views, but it costs them more to show you it 1,000 times than it does to show a video one time. So the really popular videos or really popular files or whatever, then there needs to be monetization. There needs to be a way for views, for downloads of those files to get some sort of incentive to pay for them, because nobody's not right now, yeah, because we are kind of like startups still. A lot of things are being done for free. I don't know. I'd imagine that Bico Media probably got some hidden hand or something, somebody throwing some money at it to help the guy. Or maybe the guy's just got a lot of money and he wants to spend it doing that. I don't know, but I certainly don't see adverts anywhere, but he must have server costs, and quite a lot of server costs, I'd imagine. Not really massive, but certainly not. You certainly can't do it on a $5 a month server, because there must be a lot of people looking at data on the blockchain, and someone's paying for it. TXT and Bitcash by Unwriter. What's your thoughts? These things. Was it? I saw an announcement today. To be honest, this is sad. This is the sad part. I'm a tech guy. I shouldn't be getting involved with all these things. There should be other people who are not tech people, but who can see and appreciate honesty, who can see and appreciate, they should be doing this. I should be out there looking at tech stuff, and this should be a show where I'm talking about tech stuff. I really have missed out on the tech, especially the last few months. So yeah, I should go and have a look at Unwriter. It'd be good for me to go and have a look at his stuff again, because talented guy or talented team. They say it's a guy, but who knows? He ran a meeting with people, but it could be. I don't think it's one guy. Maybe it's one guy. People know who he is, the face of it, but there must be other people behind him. Nobody. You said about good coders like an hour ago, maybe more than that. The question: am I a better coder than this person? Well, Unwriter's a better coder than me, just for the quantity of output he's got. That's why I think it's impossible for one person. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's impossible for one person. So if it is one person, that's a really good compliment. I think a lot of other people think the same thing. Yeah, economics, hashes, hash tokens, access logs, yeah, and not cat videos. Well, this is the thing. A hash is what? 20 bytes, 32 bytes? Hardly anything. Very tiny. Access log, that can be compressed. Small. Textual information is small. Yeah, if you look at I've no idea actually, but it's probably like, this is just a wild guess out of my ass, it's probably like 300 kilobytes uncompressed, the Bible, as text. Maybe it's even smaller than that. I mean, I remember stuff like the Jolly Roger cookbook and stuff like that would be on a floppy disk, a 700K one or 800K, 880K, and that was a hell of a lot of text files, Textual information, especially when you can compress it and stuff, is very small compared to a cat video. I mean, a few frames of a cat video and you've gone over a megabyte, especially if you're in HD or something. And of course, you could always have a file. You could always have your cat video hosted on the BitTorrent network or something, and all you need to post on the blockchain is the hash, the magnetic link of it. But then, of course, people say, well, what happens if all the torrent servers, if nobody's serving the torrent anymore? Well, yeah, you can't download the file. But then that's where the incentives could be involved. And using Bitcoin, you could send a strong message out to somebody who has that file, but maybe not online. They have it on a tape or something, to say, hey, get me this file. I'm willing to pay this much money for the first person who delivers it to me, or the first person who turns on their machine, sharing this on the torrent network again. It could be something like that. So yeah, why can't a spy invent Bitcoin? Oh, this could be a long answer. I'm going to give you the short one. Yeah, why not? Why isn't Bitcoin? I think Derek Moore says that Bitcoin was an invention by the CIA or by the state intelligence. Why not? It could be. And people automatically think, if you say that, oh, that means it's bad. That means it's really bad. But you've got to remember, like in most things, there are good actors for sure who work in intelligence, as well as a lot of bad actors. If you think, was it Mossad who did 9/11 or did most of it, along with rogue elements of the CIA or whatever? There's probably good agents there as well who don't agree with what happened, but they're probably got the mental and everything. They're scared to speak out, because it's not like they're going to get unfollowed on Twitter. If they speak out, they might get killed. So yeah, it could be a spy thing. It could be an entire intelligence agency thing. It could be something good done by good people. It could be something bad done by bad people. Like I said, I think it's important. I've said this quite a few times. I think it's kind of like a quote I invented. We need to be Big Brother. We need to have government on chain in a transparent box. We need to be Big Brother, and government needs to be Winston Smith. Don't let it turn around. Don't let government use this as a tool to further erode our rights and further surveil us and further stop us from being able to do things that don't harm other people freely and stuff. This is why sometimes a lot of this stuff that Craig comes out, comes out, it does freak me out a little bit, you know, like, whoa, and Joel as well, you know, these guys like, look at the eye on the man at ICU side, these guys like totally pro state surveillance and all this stuff. Then you look at Joel's past with being fired for accepting cocaine and all this stuff. I think the guy sounds more like a B-casher than a Bitcoiner, if you like, if he does stuff like that. So yeah, a spy could have invented Bitcoin, probably highly likely. When do you think these health record supply chain companies from the CoinGeek conferences will on board? When do you think we will have wallets and a browser buying one single song for 30 cents on Blair? Blair, I know what Blair is. No idea about the health companies, to be honest. I'm a firm believer in, especially now, announce it when it's built, because ideas are free to fly out there. We've had a lot of wait. It's coming in BSV for quite a while now, whether it's Satoshi, Craig proving that he's Satoshi. Yeah, it's coming. We were saying that last year. Whether it's the price going, mooning, it's coming. We were saying that last year. It's not mooning, it's what's going on. Or the flippening, or whatever thing. I'm a believer that, you know, when it's done, announce it. Yeah. So there's no point announcing stuff that ain't there unless you're looking for investment or unless you're looking for people to work on it. Because, you know, you get people saying to me, hey, Jimmy, I've got this idea. You know, yeah, great. I'm looking for a coder, Jimmy. No, I can't pay any money, but, you know, you can help. It's for BSV or whatever. Okay, yeah. I'll add it to the list of things that I want to do, you know, but it's going to be at the bottom because my list of stuff that I've thought of that one day I might get around to doing it. So why should your idea be more important than mine for me to invest my time in, unless you're paying me, you know? So people seem to think that having an idea is 50% of the work. No, it's not. A hell of a lot of work involved in getting that idea actually on the system, on the screen, working. A hell of a lot of work, because ideas are like assholes. Everybody has ideas. Getting it actually done and getting it working is one thing, and then if it's a business, getting it making money is another thing. I don't think this, apart from maybe MetaNet ICU, with its cost of $5 or $7 every user, and its income of $35 or $40 every user, unless it's a VIP user who doesn't pay. I don't think there is many businesses or any businesses on BSV making money right now, because the user base is too small. How can Twitch be making money? Their programmers have to eat. Just think how many, you pay 2 cents to Twitch, how much goes to the miner? Let's just imagine 1.9 cents goes to Twitch. That's a hell of a lot of 1.9 cents they need just to buy a hamburger, you know, just so that their programmers can eat. So they're not making any money. But of course, loads of businesses start off not making money. I mean, look at Uber, look at all these other companies. They start off not making money. That's why investors invest in them, because the idea is you invest and eventually it all works out well. So we'll see what happens with Twitch. We'll see what happens with, but a lot of it is depending. It's sad in a way, because a lot of it, you can have the most kick-ass app on BSV, but you're only going to have small numbers unless, you know, the idea is there needs to be an app that brings people over. So the app really needs to be kick-ass. It really needs to be really good, and that could help all other apps. Because imagine, let's just imagine, go back to the healthcare thing. Imagine that it gets released tomorrow and all the doctors and all the healthcare people in the world say, oh, wow, look at this. I'm going to go and get me some BSV for my company to do these health records and stuff. Do you not think that those people would also buy a little bit, would also think, what is this BSV on a personal level? Buy a bit of BSV for themselves and start twitching? I'm sure they would. So one big app bringing in people from a particular field. I mean, I'm just imagining it could suck in a way, actually, because what would happen, I imagine, say this medical idea took off, and there's a business with millions and billions of medical records every year on the blockchain, a massive influx of medical people in BSV. Twitch could turn into like a Twitter for doctors, you know, because you could have, all of a sudden you could have 10 doctors for every non-doctor using Twitch, you know, and it could all be medical stuff. So that's an interesting aspect that could happen, because one particular sector comes on the chain. But I'd rather see that than see a small amount of users, because of course what would happen is somebody would see this and they'd probably make a version of Twitch especially for medical professionals, you know, or make a version for non-medical professionals, you know, whatever. But you can see how kind of like reaction, like something can cause an unexpected reaction, you know. I just imagine there were, you know, you could think of anything, like there was a thing for old people, all of a sudden all pensions and whatever, and you could have a massive, that wouldn't represent the population at large, but you could have a massive influx of old people on BSV. Define old, you know, when I was 20, old was 30, but, you know, define old as you want to. So you could see, like, you know, the whole social media side was now all old people, you know, that could happen, these unseen effects. And the other part, when do you think we will have wallets on a browser buying one single song for 30 cents on Blair? Blair is something that Captain Bitcoin's doing, I think. I'm not sure if it's streaming videos and music or just streaming music. I don't know, really. It's the sort of thing where, interesting, we could turn the tables around. For sure, if Captain Bitcoin, I think he did a blog post the other day about it, about his vision or whatever for Blair. But for sure, when it's close to finishing the product or when it's finished, if I'm doing a show and if he wants to come on, it'd be quite funny, him playing guest and me playing presenter, asking him questions, and nice questions and hard questions as well, because, you know, whether it's Blair or whatever, any service, it's probably going to be at a loss for a while until there is more people in BSV. Now, the idea is, the perfect thing is to get people who don't even know they're using BSV. You know, people are just using their credit card. They don't know they're buying BSV. They've just got these things called credits or whatever, and that's how we really need to do it, so that people don't even notice what they're using. Look at Handcash. I mean, I might have ripped Handcash a few times saying that I don't agree with their principles about their whole it's non-custodial thing, but from a UX point of view, it's a great product. I can't argue with that. It's a great product. A lot of the people, you could use it, you could send it to your grandmother maybe, and she wouldn't even need to know that she was using BSV. For her, she just looks and sees dollars or pounds in her screen, and that's what she sends to the grandkids, you know. So that's how we need to get people on board. So yeah, how long will it take? I don't know. You need to go and ask Captain Bitcoin that. You need to go and see what they're doing. Not my product. Are there tools to filter chain data from your own pruned node? Well, yeah, if you're pruning it, you're filtering it. Oh, hang on, it's got over. So from a just, you can tell a pruned node to grab the full data from the full chain. You can use the RPC interface to request, I believe, even if you want a pruned node, you can go and request a transaction. You can go and request a block, and I think it should go and get it for you. But if not, you can always go and write your own node. I've got to release it. I mean, I've got to finish it actually. I've got a node that I've written in Python, totally from scratch. You see, it's totally from scratch because it's async IO, and I haven't seen any other node software out there using async IO. Designed it to work on the code is basically Bitcoin. When it says Bitcoin, it's BSV. But I've also designed it because I wanted to use it. I didn't know whether to make it as a data uploading, data blasting tool on BSV, or as a spamming tool on BTC or Bcash. So the code also has, like, it's got Bitcoin, which is BSV, BTC, which is BTC, and Bcash. So, and it's an async IO node. From performance testing, for Python, it's pretty quick. And yeah, the idea is it's not going to do mining or or I don't even think I'm missing a few things. I'm not like validating blocks. You know, I'm validating the header, but I'm not validating transactions and all that stuff. All they were really interested in was watching for block announcements and being able to send transactions, and also maybe doing some SPV work. But you know, I should be doing that. I shouldn't be doing this drama. I should be back coding. I should be finishing off my Python async IO node, releasing that to the world and saying, you fuckers who said that Jimmy can't code, or Jimmy doesn't build anything, or Jimmy doesn't know his tech, or whatever. Maybe I should do that. Maybe, you know, I don't know. NSA MIT white paper 1996. I'm not sure what that refers to. Telly was writing it while I was speaking about something, and maybe he wants to remind me what that means. I think that phone call that Craig had was legit. I think he did have to go on that guy. 1.5 hours they talk. This is the interesting thing, because Craig said he talked with a dead guy in 2010, a guy who died in 2011. Craig was speaking to a guy who died in 2010. So there's a problem somewhere. Either Craig's testimony is not 100% correct, or Craig can speak to dead people, or the guy isn't dead and it's all a lie. He wasn't really found in a body in a bag. There's a problem there, folks. I'm not sure of the legal implications if you sign a document swearing on oath that this is the truth and the date's wrong. I mean, I understand that, yeah, you can get the date wrong, especially you're more likely to say, I don't know, the 9th of June 2009 when it was the 9th of June 2010. You confused the year. It's not like you're saying the 25th of May 2009 when it was the 9th of June 2009. You can confuse the year. But I said it's quite funny how, because at times, like, if you look at his blog as well, the blog goes by the same dates, and it's all based on his recollection from when he divorced his wife the year before. And I'm like, well, okay, I understand the guy can forget when he got married. You can forget your marriage date. But are you really going to forget the day you got divorced and went your own way? I don't know. But also, even whether you've forgotten or not, whether it's, I forgot, if you sign a document saying this is true and valid testimony, or you've sworn an oath, can they fuck you over because you got the date wrong? I don't know. Because everyone makes mistakes. But I'm guessing they can. I guess you could say, well, you're the one who signed that document. You're the one who said that date, that year. You should have gone and looked at receipts and found out when you was in the hotel or whatever. You should have confirmed. You should have, but also, if you ask me what I was doing a month ago, well, yeah, I know what I was doing. I was probably in my house looking at, before coronavirus, what I was doing on a particular date. I wouldn't bloody know. I wouldn't have any receipt or anything to find out what I was doing. So, it's confusing. Nomad says, CSW remembered the wrong dates. Read his ex-wife's deposition. You folks go and read it. I'm not going to read anything else. I'm bored of the whole trial thing. All I know is that this gun thing is interesting for me. I want to see this gun thing. I want to see I want to see what happens, because I think this is important. There's some important questions. If I can hurry along the process of us working out whether he's Satoshi Nakamoto or not, and being able to prove it, if I can hurry that along, I'm happy to, because I'm getting kind of like impatient. Well, I've been impatient for quite a while, to be honest. I know it's not going to make a difference to the technology, but it's certainly going to make our image better. We're certainly going to clean up the space, make us a bit more. Either way, Either way, if it's Satoshi, haha, BTC is Bcash. Look, you're all wrong, you fucking idiots. He is Satoshi. This is the Bitcoin that he designed. Not that we need him to be Satoshi for it to be obvious that it's the Bitcoin that he designed, but it'd be good ammunition. It would be good ammunition, and we could see quite a lot of action. But on the other hand, if he wasn't Satoshi and he was a fake and a fraud, it'd be good as well. Certainly better than it is now. We'd probably go up in price because, okay, he's a fake, he's a fraud, okay, we admit it, but we've still got the best tech. let's roll. But shut the fuck up, Craig. You don't speak for us. You don't speak for our coin. This is the confusion, because a lot of people think he speaks for us. So when he says stuff like that message wasn't signed, which if he wants to use the definition legal signed, then say legally signed, but he wants to just use the word signed because it creates an ambiguous situation and he knows it's going to create a reaction, I guess. Maybe he's just he likes drama. Maybe he likes trolling. I don't know. But he must have known that saying it wasn't signed would have caused the reaction that it did. But most people think that he speaks for all of us. He doesn't speak for me. I speak for me. I think Joel speaks for everybody else. No. Anyway, so 3D chess games are just that. Yeah, what level are we at now? 3D? We must be 100D now. All these different layers on layers on layers on layers on layers. You know, kind of like hard to follow the ball here. Yeah. Right. So I've got to the end of the chat. 2 hours done. Should we do 2 hours more, folks? I'm joking. No way. 2 hours. I think probably the end. Anyone got any other questions? Any other talking points? Happy to oblige. I want Ted to tell me what he means by the NSA MIT white paper, 1996. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I'm gonna have a look on Twitter and on Twitch, see if any got any reactions to people reacting to things. It's 21E8. What's that about? Okay, so people are laughing. Some people are laughing about this thing about the Twitch being screwed. But if I'd paid for that Twitch and it was wrong, I'd be pissed off about it. Just, you know, it makes me worry. You know, but even having said that, the data is on the blockchain. They could, I'm guessing, they could they? I don't know, because I think it's Klimios or whatever his name is, that smart guy who said that analyzing the Twitch protocol, that not everything on Twitch was on chain, which is probably a big shock to some. Maybe they've changed things now. At the time, I think Wayblock was better, but of course Wayblock came after. It's a better protocol. So could they say, okay, we've got corruption in our database, we'll format the database and we'll rebuild it from the blockchain? Because ultimately the truth is on the blockchain. But there certainly is a problem there. So to be laughing at it, I don't know if it's the right thing to do. It kind of looks cultish and circle jerkish in a way, but I think they're kind of like confused between marketing and fucking over customers. I don't know. You know, of course, there's probably terms and conditions saying that you ain't got no rights anyway if they've got wrong data on their website. They'll probably just say, you look at it through another website, you know, whatever. But it certainly doesn't really give me an incentive to Twitch anymore. You know, why Twitch if you don't even know what's going to happen to it, whether you're going to be censored or whether it's going to be displayed correctly. Thanks. Keep doing you. How to make a mint? The cryptography of anonymous electronic cash. Oh yeah, I mean, Craig said that. Well, is that something that Craig wrote? Craig said that it's been the ideas. Yeah, the ideas have been around for a long time, but anonymous electronic cash, Bitcoin isn't anonymous electronic cash. It's private electronic cash. BTC, I think, and Bcash are trying to be anonymous. And Craig is 99% Satoshi. He used my exchange in 2010, 2011, but that's not proof. Yeah, even if you had the just the words from somebody who, I've seen that they've done some good work, but you know, anyone could say anything, can't they? Even if you had documents saying he used the exchange in 2010, 2011, it doesn't prove it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying. You know, I always thought on the tech side, yeah, Craig Satoshi, because some of the stuff he came out with, and I would just say it's like it's Satoshi, or it's like they they tortured Satoshi and killed him maybe, but they got all this knowledge out of him before they killed him, and they found a guy who could act as him, and that was Craig. This is where it gets confusing. We go back to this intelligence services, and this guy, body in the bag, is it all tied up? And you know, could the guy be a fake Toshi working for the intelligence agencies who killed Satoshi? I mean, this is getting ridiculous, but we need to follow it. We need to investigate this stuff. Just, you know, because all these conspiracy folk and that, conspiracy people, do they think the truth's going to come out in court? I mean, people will think if he gets found in court, I mean, if he gets contempt, the worst thing that can happen is the guy gets contempt of court and gets jailed for 4 years or 2 years. The McCormack trial doesn't happen, and all this stuff, and we're sat around waiting for 2 years, and our coin is known as the coin where the guy who says he's created it is in jail for being a liar, because you're going to have people who say, well, no, that's a setup. The justice system is screwing him over. He really is Satoshi. This is some big plot by insert your favorite group here, you know. Is that going to do us any good? I don't think it's going to do us any good. People say the tech, it's only the tech that matters, but yeah, but you go and Google Bitcoin SV. Believe me, if Craig goes to jail or something like that, the first page of results is going to be about Craig in jail. And as a business, are you going to want to associate with that coin? No. Okay, that's it, folks. Leave it with Ted. Ted says, good stuff, Jimmy. Well, if you enjoyed it, you think you got some value from my show, jimmyandlose@moneybutton.com. You can send there from Handcash. Don't send to Jimmy and Lose on Handcash. In your Handcash, you should be able to type jimmyandlose@moneybutton.com, because it's a pay mail ID. You should be able to send me from Handcash if you want to. But certainly, if you want to, if you can, sure. It certainly gives me batteries, shall we say, thinking, well, yeah, you know, because it's easy to say, I like this, and it's easy to say good or whatever, but, you know, even if it's 10 cents, you know, whatever, you know, people send something, it's like, you know, oh, people enjoyed it. Somebody took the time to send me something. Obviously, if it's $1,000, great, but, you know, never had $1,000, not yet anyway. Be the first. So, yeah, you know, it's fun for me. I would do it anyway, but it's nice. It's interesting to see, you know. Sometimes it's a good barometer of the show, you know, because you can look at how many online viewers have I got, how many upvotes did I get, but that can all be faked. And it's a good barometer, you know. So if this show made more than the last show, I won't say what the last show made, but it was less than $21. You can probably guess what it was. That was because somebody sent me $20. So you can imagine the average donation. It's a good barometer to think, well, you know, wow, if I got twice as much this show, does that mean my show is twice as good as the last show? Does it just mean I was lucky? I mean, it could be the end of the month, people have got more money. It could be the start of the month, people have got more money. I don't know, but it's interesting. And yeah, it's certainly pacing my cigarettes anyway. So apparently soon I'll be able to go out drinking in bars again, maybe. That's what they're saying, coronavirus and stuff. We'll see. So, you know, maybe soon you'll be paying for my beer money if you donate. Okay, thanks everybody. Cheers for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, until the next time, goodbye.